Harsh neon light bleeds through the oily rain, painting the salvage yard in grim, distorted hues. A sudden, sharp rap echoes against the corrugated metal of their makeshift office, cutting through the downpour. A sleek, anonymous drone hovers, its singular optical sensor blinking with cold, indifferent authority. From its undercarriage, a laminated document slowly descends, tethered by a thin, glowing filament. Jox reaches out, his calloused fingers hesitating before plucking the official-looking, sealed summons from the air. The drone retracts its arm with a soft whir, then vanishes into the speedline sky, leaving only silence. The crew gathers close, their faces illuminated by the document's faint, internal, self-illuminating glow. Its stark, corporate crest, a stylized gear within a predatory claw, dominates the top of the crisp, white page. The words compliance invitation are emblazoned in severe, angular script, promising little warmth or understanding. Below, a deadline blazes in urgent crimson. Less than 72 hours to appear before the tribunal. Fear tightens its grip on their chests, a cold, metallic taste coating the back of their parched throats. Jox crumples the edges of the paper, his jaw clenching, the message's weight pressing down upon them. Ilara's eyes scan the legal jargon, her brow furrowed with a deep, unsettling sense of encroaching doom. Kale mutters about corporate vultures, his hand instinctively reaching for a discarded wrench nearby. The rain outside intensifies, drumming a relentless, ominous rhythm against the yard's vulnerable tin roof. They feel the city's vast, impersonal machinery whirry into motion, a predator slowly awakening from its slumber. This isn't just a summons. It feels like a declaration, an official challenge to their very existence. The Titan's looming silhouette in the distance seems to shiver, sensing the invisible chains tightening around it. Shadows lengthen across the yard, swallowing the smaller people, making them feel acutely insignificant in this moment. Every bolt they tightened, every spark they cherished, now feels like a transgression in the city's cold eyes. The air grows heavy with unspoken dread, a suffocating blanket of impending corporate scrutiny. They know the system delays only to prepare a cleaner, more Shijiba crushing strike against their freedom. The invitation feels less like a request and more like a cruel, unavoidable, public demand for their surrender. Their hard-won independence suddenly seems fragile, a flickering flame against a gathering bureaucratic storm. The deadline feels like a countdown to oblivion, a stark reminder of their precarious standing. Ilara traces the warning stripes on a nearby scrap heap, seeing them now as ritualistic war paint. The city's core hums a low, resonant note, a vibration that permeates the very ground beneath their feet. This summons represents the corporate giant's unyielding claim over all remnants of the past wars. They consider the Titan a body made of scrap and wonder who truly owns its beating, hidden heart. The weight of the world, specifically its legal frameworks, descends upon their small, defiant crew. A chill wind sweeps through the yard, carrying the scent of ozone and the metallic temps of fear. The neon glow reflected in puddles shimmers like shattered dreams, mirroring their uncertain future. They must face the tribunal, a gauntlet of legalities designed to strip them of their autonomy. The clock begins its relentless march, each tick a hammer blow against their dwindling hope. Their oath, once whispered under rust, now faces the harsh, unforgiving light of corporate law. The tribunal chamber stands stark and imposing, a monolith of polished chrome and dark, unforgiving stone. Its immense doors, etched with corporate sigils, slide open with a hushed, almost reverent sigh. Inside, the air hangs heavy with the scent of sterile disinfectant and unyielding, cold authority. Rows of silent, dark-suited security personnel line the walls, their faces impassive, their posture rigid. A raised dais dominates the room, where three figures sit, shrouded in the dim, oppressive lighting. The central figure, a stern-faced woman with eyes like chipped ice, embodies corporate power personified. To her left, a city official, his face a mask of weary indifference, shuffles through digital tablets. To her right, a legal automaton, its optical sensors glowing faintly, records every whispered word. The crew stands before them, a defiant splash of grease-stained fabric against the room's stark formality. Jox feels a tremor of suppressed rage, his hands clenching at his sides, knuckles white and tense. Alara's gaze sweeps the room, noting every detail, every subtle power play, her mind racing. Kale's jaw is set, his posture a defiant challenge to the overwhelming, sterile grandeur surrounding them. The corporate representative begins, her voice a low, precise drone, devoid of any human warmth. She refers to the Titan as Asset 730 for Alpha, stripping it of any perceived sentience or personal history. The crew, in turn, becomes temporary handlers, their connection to the machine reduced to mere function. Every word she utters is a calculated blow, diminishing their work, their bond, their very identity. The air crackles with unspoken tension, the weight of their precarious situation pressing down relentlessly. They remember the Titan's first stirrings, the sacred-looking weld sparks that ignited its hidden core. Now, the corporation claims ownership over those very sparks, over every metallic groan of awakening. The vast gulf between their passion and the corporation's cold legalism feels impossibly wide and deep. The silent security guards shift almost imperceptibly, their presence a constant, veiled threat. The city official avoids their gaze, his silence a complicit endorsement of the corporate narrative unfolding. They feel like small fish caught in a vast, unseen net, slowly being dragged towards an inevitable fate. The polished surfaces of the tribunal chamber reflect their anxious faces back as distorted, fearful The legal automaton's faint hum is the only sound breaking the corporate representatives' monotonous recitation. It's glowing. Optical sensors seem to bore into their souls, judging them with cold, algorithmic precision. The stark reality of their situation descends, heavy and suffocating, like a shroud of corporate steel. They are trespassers, in the eyes of this system, custodians of stolen property, or so the narrative goes. The Titan, their friend, their burden, is reduced to a number, a mere commodity on a ledger. They recall the Titan's hidden heart, beating once per minute, a secret pulse within its metal shell. The corporation, however, sees only untapped potential, a massive resource awaiting their exploitation. The tribunal room feels less like a court and more like a carefully orchestrated, inevitable execution. Each legal term, each clause, feels like another bolt tightened on a noose around their future. Jox clenches his fists, imagining the feel of a wrench, the satisfying torque of defiant resistance. Alara's mind races, searching for loopholes, for any crack in the corporate armor, any path to escape. Kale's eyes narrow, a silent promise of stubborn, unyielding fight burning deep within their depths. The corporate representative projects holographic images of their yard, highlighting unlicensed activities. She points to the Titan, a towering silhouette against a speed-lined sky, labeled as unauthorized assembly. The images are distorted, emphasizing the Titan's size, making it appear monstrous, a clear threat. They see their sanctuary, their home, turned into evidence against them, twisted by corporate propaganda. The cold, hard facts of legal precedent are wielded like a weapon aimed directly at their hearts. The tribunal's gaze is unwavering, reflecting no sympathy, only the cold, hard logic of profit. The defiance feels small, almost insignificant, against this monolithic, unfeeling corporate structure. The air grows thick with the unspoken accusation, the weight of their perceived guilt pressing down. They are salvagers, not lawyers, ill-equipped for this battle fought with documents and legal jargon. The city, which profits from forgetting, now remembers their Titan with predatory, covetous intent. The core questions of ownership hang heavy in the sterile, air-conditioned tribunal chamber. Who owns a body made of scrap, meticulously pieced together by loving, desperate hands? Who owns a war's leftovers, salvaged from the ruins, given new purpose and a beating heart? If a Titan chooses you, is it mercy or a sentence to unending conflict? The answers offered by the corporation are stark. Ownership belongs to those with the deepest pockets. Their legal counsel, a nervous, sweating public defender, offers weak, hesitant interjections. His voice is swallowed by the room's acoustics, a whisper against the corporation's booming authority. The crew feels a profound sense of isolation, surrounded by enemies in this desolate, legal landscape. Their only ally, the Titan, remains outside, its silent presence, a distant, unacknowledged comfort. The corporate representative smiles, a thin, cruel twist of her lips, savoring their visible discomfort. She presents a new piece of evidence, a hollow projection flickering to life before their widening eyes. It depicts another salvage crew standing proudly beside a smaller but similarly assembled mech. These rivals, familiar faces from the district, now appear as witnesses for the prosecution. Their betrayal sharp, their envy is real, a tangible, bitter taste in the air, but someone else has paid to sharpen it. They offer evidence of the crew's unlicensed operations, twisting past events into damning accusations. A collective gasp escapes the crew, realizing the depth of the coordinated attack now unfolding against them. The rival crew's leader, Silas, with a sneering grin, takes the virtual stand with false confidence. His eyes, once holding a flicker of respect, now gleam with a calculated, cold opportunist malice. He speaks of their Titan as a dangerous anomaly, a public hazard, uncontrolled and utterly unpredictable. Silas recounts fabricated stories of near misses and property damage, painting the crew as reckless amateurs. His voice drips with feigned concern, a performance designed to impress the unfeeling corporate tribunal. Jux feels a hot surge of betrayal, remembering shared meals, shared struggles in the harsh salvage district. Elara watches Silas, seeing the puppet strings clearly, recognizing the corporate hand pulling his every move. Kale mutters curses under his breath, his fists clenching, itching for a more direct, physical confrontation. The tribunal listens impassively, their expressions unchanging, absorbing Silas's carefully crafted lies. The corporate representative nods approvingly, a silent signal of validation for the rival crew's testimony. Silas then presents fabricated documents, showing the crew's supposed lack of proper salvage permits. These records are clearly doctored, but the tribunal accepts them without question, without hesitation. The weight of engineered evidence settles upon the crew, a crushing burden of unfair, legalistic accusations. Their own humble, honest repair work is twisted into a dangerous, illicit undertaking by these false claims. The core questions of who owns a war's leftovers are being answered by corporate greed and manipulation. Silas finishes his testimony with a smug, self-satisfied smirk, glancing at the crew with cold triumph. The city official scribbles notes, seemingly convinced by the orchestrated display of false, damning evidence. The legal automaton's sensors glow brighter, indicating a successful input of prejudicial information. The tribunal's leader then turns her gaze back to the crew, her face a mask of implacable judgment. She clears her throat, the sound amplified, echoing ominously through the sterile, silent chamber. Considering the presented evidence, she begins, her voice resonating with cold, unyielding authority, and the undeniable public safety concerns regarding Asset 730 for Alpha's unauthorized operation ... double quotes. She pauses, letting the words hang in the air, heavy with unspoken threats and impending doom. The crew braces themselves, expecting the worst, preparing for the crushing weight of a corporate verdict. But then, a flicker of something unexpected crosses her stern features, a calculated, predatory shift. The corporation, in its benevolence, she continues, offers a path to conditional legitimacy for your operations. A collective sigh of confused relief escapes the crew, quickly followed by a wave of cautious suspicion. This offer feels too sudden, too generous, a trap carefully laid beneath a veneer of corporate kindness. Jox exchanges a wary glance with Elara, sensing the hidden costs lurking within this seemingly merciful reprieve. If, the corporate representative enunciates clearly, Asset 734 Alpha is registered under corporate ownership. The air in the chamber suddenly grows colder, thicker, the true nature of the deal revealing itself. And your salvage operations, she adds, are brought under our direct, comprehensive corporate oversight. The crew feels a visceral jolt, a sickening realization that this is not an offer, but a demand. Their conditional legitimacy means utter surrender, the complete forfeiture of their hard-won autonomy. The Titan, their friend, their creation, would become just another line item on a corporate balance sheet. Alara's eyes narrow, understanding the insidious nature of this deal like a coffin, a slow, legalistic death. Their entire existence, their very identity as independent salvagers, would be swallowed by this corporate mob. Kale's jaw tightens, a muscle twitching in his cheek, a raw, defiant anger simmering just beneath the surface. The corporation offers them a choice: comply and be absorbed, or resist and face total, brutal erasure. They realize legal in this context means owned, stripped of agency, purpose, and personal connection. This is not about justice or fair play. It is about absolute control, about consolidating all power. The ghost bolts, the second set of hands, working in the night, would become corporate property too. Their sacred-looking weld sparks, once symbols of creation, would now be mere corporate expenditures. The Titan's hidden heart, beating with an ancient rhythm, would be silenced, its secret extracted. They consider the core a sealed chamber beating once per minute, containing chained time itself. The corporation seeks to possess even that, to exploit its mysteries for their own unimaginable gain. Jocks feels the weight of the Titan's choice, the silent promise it made to them, now threatened by legalities. The harsh neon glow outside the windows seems to mock their predicament, reflecting their dimming hopes. They are caught between a rock and a hard place, between corporate assimilation and utter destruction. The tribunal leader watches their reactions, a faint, almost imperceptible smirk playing on her thin lips. She knows the pressure is immense, the choice seemingly inevitable for a small, struggling salvage crew. The corporate reps exchange knowing glances, confident in the crushing power of their legal leverage. Their rival, Silas, looks on with a satisfied sneer, enjoying the spectacle of their impending subjugation. The offer is tempting in its grim security, a lifeline woven from threads of their own enslavement. But to accept means abandoning their oath, betraying the Titan, and losing their very souls. Repair, once a moral act, would become a corporate mandate, devoid of personal meaning or passion. The bold silhouettes of their dreams would be flattened, absorbed into the corporate machine's bland design. Their defiant warning stripes, like ritual paint, would be replaced by corporate branding and sterile labels. The thought of the Titan under corporate command, its purpose perverted, fills them with profound despair. Its immense power, once a symbol of their freedom, would become an instrument of corporate dominion. They remember the inscription on the core, a name impossibly entangled with their own. Decades Pariah. To surrender the Titan means surrendering that mystery, that deep personal connection to its past. The cold, hard reality of the situation settles deep within their bones, chilling them to the very marrow. They have built a god from scrap, and now the city's weekend gods demand its immediate total surrender. The Erhams, with the unspoken question, what price are they willing to pay for their freedom? Their nervous public defender clears his throat, offering a hesitant, almost apologetic glance their way. He whispers about the benefits of corporate integration, the safety of legal compliance, the end of their struggle, but his words ring hollow. A betrayal of their spirit, a concession to the very forces they resist. Jock shakes his head, a silent, stubborn refusal, his gaze fixed on the corporate representative's unyielding face. Ilara steps forward slightly, her voice firm, cutting through the tribunal's oppressive silence like a blade. We refuse, she states simply, her words echoing with unexpected strength. A defiant challenge to authority. A ripple of surprise passes through the corporate reps, their smooth, impassive masks momentarily cracking. The tribunal leader's eyes narrow, her composure faltering for a fleeting, almost imperceptible second. Silas's smug grin vanishes, replaced by a look of stunned disbelief, then a flash of renewed anger. You refuse, the tribunal leader asks, her voice now laced with a dangerous, barely contained irritation. You reject the path to legitimacy, the generous offer of corporate protection and oversight. Her tone implies not a question, but a final, damning judgment, a prelude to their certain downfall. The silent security guards stiffen, their hands moving subtly towards concealed weapons at their sides. The air crackles with heightened tension, the atmosphere shifting from cold legality to overt, impending threat. Jux feels a surge of pride in Alera's defiance, a renewed sense of purpose igniting within his own heart. Kale lets out a low, satisfied grunt, a warrior finding his footing on a battlefield. He understands. We argue, Ilara continues, her voice unwavering, for public safety, for community impact, for emergency service. She projects a small, handheld holodisplay, showing images of the Titan assisting after recent collapses. It shows the Titan lifting collapsed steel, clearing debris, aiding the injured after unseen disasters. The images are stark, powerful, depicting the Titan as a protector, a beacon of hope in the darkness. The tribunal members glance at the images, their expressions betraying a flicker of momentary, unwelcome doubt. The corporate representative, however, quickly regains her composure, her face hardening once more. She dismisses the images with a contemptuous wave of her hand, as if swatting away an annoying fly. These are anecdotal instances, she states coldly. Unregulated actions without proper licensing or insurance. She then calls up her own holographic projections, displaying complex charts and dizzying financial figures. The cost of liability, she intones, the projected losses from uncontrolled assets are simply astronomical. The tribunal responds with numbers, not compassion, with cold, hard data, not human empathy or understanding. They quantify risk, monetize goodwill, and reduce every human element to a quantifiable, manageable statistic. The crew's arguments, born of heart and sweat, shatter against the unyielding wall of corporate arithmetic. The tribunal leader looks at Alara, her gaze chillingly devoid of any warmth or shred of human feeling. Your arguments are noted, she states, her voice flat, but they hold no legal standing in this court. She prepares to deliver her final, crushing verdict, the air thick with the certainty of their impending doom. The tribunal leader raises her hand, a gesture of finality, preparing to seal the crew's grim fate forever. A palpable tension grips the chamber, every eye fixed on her, awaiting the pronouncement of their downfall. Suddenly, the overhead lights flicker violently, plunging the pristine chamber into momentary, unsettling darkness. A low, resonant hum, deep and ancient, vibrates through the polished floor, rattling the very foundations. It is the Titan's hum, brushing the air, a silent, powerful assertion of its immense, watchful presence outside. The holographic displays on the corporate reps' consoles glitch, their data streams momentarily breaking apart. Panic flickers across the faces of the security personnel, their rigid composure momentarily dissolving into uncertainty. The city official nervously adjusts his tie, his eyes darting towards the flickering lights above them. The tribunal leader pauses, her hands still raised, her expression a mix of annoyance and subtle, stoning eunice. Then, as abruptly as it began, the power stabilizes, the harsh neon lights blazing back to full intensity. The Titan's hum recedes, a lingering echo in the air, a whisper of immense power barely contained. It is as if the Titan is listening, its silent intervention, a defiant counterpoint to the tribunal's cold justice. The crew exchanges knowing glances, a spark of hope igniting in their weary, defiant eyes. Their Titan, their chosen one, watches over them, a colossal guardian against the city's bureaucratic might. The tribunal leader clears her throat, visibly flustered, struggling to regain her lost, authoritative composure. Her voice is sharper now, tinged with an edge of irritation, perhaps even a flicker of superstitious fear. Despite these unexpected interruptions, she declares, the court's decision remains largely unchanged. However, she adds, her gaze sweeping over the crew, a brief reprieve is granted for procedural review. The crew feels a surge of cautious relief. A small victory wrested from the jaws of certain defeat. Yet, the reprieve comes with heavier restrictions, a tightening of the chains around their burgeoning freedom. They are given a mere 48 hours to comply with an exhaustive list of new, impossible regulations. The Titan is declared under observation, its movements to be tracked, its very existence monitored. Corporate drones are authorized to patrol the airspace above their yard, their presence, a constant surveillance. Their salvage operations are effectively frozen, deemed high risk until full corporate compliance is achieved. The system delays only to prepare A cleaner, more definitive, crushing strike against their independent spirit? This is not mercy. It is a strategic retreat, a regrouping before the final, overwhelming assault begins. The tribunal leader issues a stern warning about future non-compliance, her voice chillingly devoid of empathy. The corporate reps nod in agreement, their faces once again impassive, their predatory intent thinly veiled. Silas, the rival crew leader, glares at them, his envy now sharpened into a furious, bitter resentment. The crew is dismissed, walking out of the tribunal chamber into the harsh, neon-lit, oily, rain-soaked city. The speed line skies above them streak with the frantic energy of a city perpetually on the brink. They feel the weight of the new restrictions, a suffocating blanket of corporate control descending upon them. Their freedom feels like a flickering candle, constantly threatened by the overwhelming winds of corporate power. Jox's jaw is tight, his mind already racing, searching for a way to navigate this treacherous, legalistic maze. Alera's eyes scanned the bustling street, a deep worry etched into her features, her intuition screaming danger. Kale kicks a loose stone, his frustration a palpable, simmering fury, yearning for a tangible enemy. As they reach the exit, a figure steps subtly into their path, a tribunal clerk with a nervous demeanor. He is young, his face pale, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and urgent, silent warning. He presses a small, folded data chip into Jox's hand, his fingers trembling slightly as he does so. "They will seize it tonight," he whispers urgently, his voice barely audible above the city's ceaseless roar. "The Titan!" "They plan to send a full retrieval force before dawn, before your reprieve truly begins." His eyes dart around nervously, ensuring no one else has overheard his desperate, life-threatening disclosure. "They want to avoid another interference," he adds, glancing upwards, remembering the power flicker. The clerk then quickly melts back into the anonymous crowd, vanishing as swiftly as he appeared. Jox clutches the data chip, its small, smooth surface feeling impossibly heavy in his suddenly cold hand. The words, "They will seize it tonight," echo in his mind, a chilling pronouncement of immediate, brutal action. This is not a legal battle anymore. It is a desperate race against time, a fight for survival. The reprieve was a cruel deception, a tactic to lull them into a false sense of security before the strike. They realize the system delays only to prepare a cleaner, Mahdi's Shajiba crushing strike against their freedom. The corporate Leviathan moves with cunning, using law as a guillotine, and now stealth as a silent blade. They turn, their eyes drawn instinctively towards the distant silhouette of their yard, their sanctuary. The Titan stands there, a bold silhouette against the perpetually stormy Riftsguard horizon, unaware of the impending assault. Giant shadows already seem to stretch from the city's towering corporate spires, reaching out to swallow it whole. The oily rain falls harder now, blurring the edges of the world, mirroring the chaos unfolding within their hearts. They feel the siege coming, a relentless, overwhelming force gathering on the horizon, ready to descend. The air vibrates with a new kind of tension, not legal, but primal, the scent of impending conflict. Their oath, whispered under rust, now demands immediate action, a defiant stand against overwhelming odds. The Corps' inscription, a name, impossibly entangled with their own, feels like a call to arms. Who owns a body made of scrap? Tonight, that question will be answered with force, not legal papers. Who owns a war's leftovers? The corporation believes it does, and they are coming to claim their prize. If a Titan chooses you, is it mercy or a sentence to unending conflict? The glowing hearts of the city watch silently, their neon pulse a stark contrast to the crew's pounding dread. They must return to the yard, prepare for the inevitable, rally their meager defenses against the corporate machine. The very ground beneath their feet feels charged with anticipation, a silent witness to the coming struggle. Their small, defiant crew stands against the might of an empire, their resolve tested, but not broken. The Titan waits, a silent promise, its hidden heart beating a slow, steady rhythm of ancient power. The night descends, cloaking the city in a blanket of harsh neon and ominous, creeping shadows. Oily rain slicks the deserted streets reflecting the garish glow of distant corporate towers like fractured dreams. The air grows heavy with the scent of ozone and stale exhaust, a grim perfume of urban decay. Every siren wail, every distant rumble, now sounds like the approaching corporate retrieval force. They imagine the corporate drones, like locusts, swarming the yard, tearing their titan limb from limb. The thought fuels their frantic pace, their boots splashing through neon-tinged puddles with desperate urgency. Jox clutches the data chip tighter, its cold plastic a constant reminder of the chilling, immediate threat. Alara glances back at the city skyline, seeing the giant shadows of power reaching out to consume them. Kale grits his teeth, his mind already mapping defensive positions, preparing for the inevitable, brutal fight. The hum of the city's core feels different now, a low, predatory growl beneath the urban din. They push their bodies harder, their lungs burning, driven by the fierce desire to protect their chosen titan. Their shared history, their struggles, their triumphs, all hinge on this desperate dash through the night. The memory of sacred-looking weld sparks ignites a fire of defiance within their weary, determined souls. They are a small crew, but their resolve is forged in fire, tempered by loyalty and unwavering purpose. The warning stripes on their titan, once merely paint, now truly feel like ritualistic war paint. They are salvagers, but tonight they become defenders, guardians of a secret, living monument. The fate of the titan, and their own, hangs precariously in the balance, poised on the edge of midnight. The city sleeps, unaware of the silent war about to erupt in its forgotten, rain-soaked salvage district. The crew runs, their footsteps echoing urgently through the deserted, grimy, neon-streaked alleys. Their hearts pound with a mixture of fear, determination, and a fierce, unyielding love for their titan. The data chip burns in Jox's hand, a small, cold harbinger of the impending, brutal confrontation. Tonight, the yard that breathes will hold its breath, awaiting the siege, awaiting the dawn, awaiting its destiny. The core's inscription, a name whispered through decades, now demands their ultimate, defiant sacrifice. The rumble of heavy vehicles in the distance sends a shiver down their spines, a chilling premonition. Corporate headlights pierce the rainy gloom, a predatory gleam in the encroaching, suffocating darkness. The sound of grinding treads grows louder, closer, echoing the relentless march of corporate dominion. The air itself crackles with anticipation, a charged stillness before the storm of conflict breaks loose. Their titan waits, a silent, colossal promise, its fate now resting solely in their desperate, capable hands. The harsh neon of the city pulses like a sick heart, witnessing the inevitable, brutal clash of wills. The crew reaches the edge of their yard, turning to face the approaching, overwhelming corporate assault.